Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Magliulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
November 28th, 2025, Black Friday, and it is Sports by the Book, Football Frenzy. I am your host today, normally producer of Sports by the Book. My name is Ryan McCormick. I am joined by SBC Hall of Famers, Chris Andrews, the director of Sportsbook here at the South Point Hotel and Casino, and Vinny Magliulo, the vice president of Gone Gaming here in Las Vegas. But we've got a ton of college football games, an NFL game already in action, so we're just going to get straight to it. Jump into a game that's kicking off in 15 minutes, going to Georgia and Georgia Tech playing in Atlanta. We've got Georgia as a 16-point favorite here at the South Point, 59. Vinny, I'm going to go to you first. What do we need?
All right, here's, again, they go at it every year. You have to wonder what the mindset of Georgia Tech is right now, right, too. I mean, disappointing with their recent loss. They're probably out of the ACC playoff picture, given what Virginia and Pitt have today. But still an important game for them. And this is a game too. But the interesting thing is, again, a rivalry game. Georgia won last year 44-42, so it turned into a shootout. And Georgia's won the last three of these matchups too, but not necessarily covered. So again, you picked it out here. Big favorite here. The Dogs probably we're probably going to need Georgia Tech in this game.
So I guess it's the first time since 1913 that this game isn't being played on campus. Yeah. Being played in the Superdome down in Atlanta. So both schools getting $10 million for playing there. So quite the payday for these two. But
so they both win.
Yeah, pretty much. Georgia needs if they win, they're basically into the SEC championship game. If Alabama loses to Auburn or A&M loses to Texas. So we'll get to those a little bit later. We're going to 331, 332, San Diego State at New Mexico. This one has huge implications for the Mountain West Championship. San Diego State wins, they will host the Mountain West Championship. If New Mexico wins, that opens the door for some chaos. New Mexico could end up hosting as well. It could end up being a rematch of this game, but also playing into the next game that we'll talk about. But San Diego State is a 1-point favorite here at the South Point, 41.5. Chris, what are you looking for?
Late money came in on New Mexico today. Most of the week we were at San Diego State 1.5, but it came in, so we're down to 1. But I saw even New Mexico go to a 1-point favorite in other spots. There's a lot of pick 'em around. I tell my guys, let's take a bet. Because I think we're in week 14.
Yep.
I mean, if we should have a pretty good line on these games. Now sometimes some things happen, and we'll get to some other games where the Georgia game was a perfect example. What's Georgia Tech playing for? But both these teams are playing for something.
Yep.
And the thing is about New Mexico, they really come on this year from one of the worst programs in the country to playing pretty good ball, especially defensively. San Diego State at one point in time had the second best defense in all of college football. They've tailed off a little bit too, but not too much. I kind of like the road team here, but I mean, not much. I made the game 2, so I mean, that wouldn't be enough for a play. I kind of like them. I'm willing to take a bet, see what happens. But this, I don't know if they had this pegged at the beginning of the year to be such a big game, but it certainly is certainly for that conference.
Yeah. So the winner essentially has a chance to host the Mountain West Championship. If it's San Diego State, they will. If New Mexico wins, they need Boise State to lose to Utah State, and New Mexico would end up hosting the Mountain West Championship in a rematch of this very game. But we'll go to 333, 334, Boise State at Utah State. That one's kicking off in 40 minutes. Boise State is a...
Ryan, excuse me. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry about this. I see now there's another move back on San Diego State in that game. So that game's been flying. We've had a lot of moves today. That one went one way this morning. Now it's going back the other way. So I just want to keep everybody updated.
Okay. Yeah. More definitely need it. So we'll go to Boise State. Is it a pick 'em here at the South Point now?
We are at pick, yeah.
All right. And the total is at 54.5. So Vinny, what do you think?
Well, I think when you look at this game, Ryan, again, as Chris indicated, the problem for Boise is their quarterback's been hurt, right? So with Maddox being out, this game has gone down now to pick 'em. It's been a one-way traffic going to Utah State here. Can Boise, get in? They need some help, obviously, right? Because of the losses that they had in the conference.
If they
right?
win, they will be the two.
They'll be the two, but the help they need is in the medical tent. Right? So, but it's been one-way traffic, and that's why the game has gone all the way down to pick here, where it's a 3-point. The initial money came in early in the week on Boise in this game, 3.5. But nobody's blinked since. The 3.5 didn't last, and neither did 3, 2, or 1. So that's obviously we're in a position to need the favorite here. Well, the team that can get to the title game, and that's okay with us.
If Utah State does manage to pull off the upset here, it does open the door for UNLV to end up being in the Mountain West Championship down at San Diego State if they handle their business against New Mexico. Going to 395, 396, Temple at North Texas. North Texas coach has announced that he will be taking the Oklahoma State job, but he will be coaching out the rest of this year as they hope to make the college football playoff. We are looking at a 20-point line for the Mean Green.
The Mean Green.
And total is at 65.5. Chris, do you think the home team covers?
What's the number on that game?
20.
Let me just double check. I think I made it right there. I listen, this team has really put up some points this year. I made the number exactly 20. I really don't have an opinion here. I've always, listen, being from Pittsburgh, Mean Joe Green. And he was Joe Green until we got to Pittsburgh, and then they dubbed him Mean Joe Green. And it has stuck for 50-some years. So it seems rather appropriate. I heard he was kind of mean, too, so I can believe it. But anyway, I've always kind of rooted for them. I was glad to see the coach get a big job. When you have a team like North Texas, I think they kind of know you're not going to hold on to that guy if he is successful. He's been tremendously successful this year, certainly on the offensive side of the ball. I made the game 20, a big total in this game. But, I don't have an opinion. But this is a big game for North Texas, and they are going to go on from here. And, probably whatever he does not only will help North Texas, but it will help him in his job at Oklahoma State, because I'm sure they go to Texas to recruit a lot of players for that school.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll stay in Texas. Going down to the Lone Star Showdown. Texas A&M on the road, taking on the Longhorns of Texas. If A&M wins, they will be the home team in the SEC Conference Championship. If they lose, they will not participate in the SEC Conference Championship as long as Alabama and Georgia take care of their business. We see the line is a 3-point favorite for the Aggies now here at the South Point, and 2.5 elsewhere in the market, but the total is at 52.5. Vinny, what do we think?
So Texas last year at A&M wins this game 17-7. Remember, Texas A&M struggled at the end of it. Last year at this time was South Carolina, who was, everybody was saying, can they sneak in? So Texas looking for some revenge here. A&M looking for also probably a first-round playoff bye, right, with a win here in all likelihood. And, of course, if they go to the SEC title game. Texas, can they make the playoff with 3 losses? I don't think so. They're going to need so much help, but the help obviously starts with this game here.
All right, we'll talk one more that's kicking off today in this kind of marquee game time dependent matchups, and then we'll get to the Arizona State game as we're talking Big 12. So, but for now, 337, 338, Indiana, the number 2 team in the country, on the road at Purdue. Indiana is a massive favorite, laying 28.5 now here at the South Point, and 53 is the total. What do you think, Chris?
I made this game 26. Barry Odom has done a really good job at Purdue. It hasn't really reflected in the win category, but the team is playing some pretty decent ball. And for those in the Midwest, this is a huge rivalry game. Now, I don't let the rivalry influence me that much. I think I told everybody I did a study years ago when I had my own website, and it's about 50-50 with dogs and favorites. But I think it's one of those games where Barry Odom has got this team playing some pretty good ball. And listen, I made the game 26. I'm not going to go rush to the window to bet. We know how explosive Indiana is. That game could be sitting on 24-25 or something like that, and they could score late. And I don't think any of us would be surprised, including me. But I do need the dog in this one, and that's okay. I think that I'd like Purdue to kind of keep this one a little bit closer than the number.
Okay. We'll go to Saturday's games now. First in the ACC, 339-340, the Sunshine Showdown between Florida State and Florida. Is this now a pick 'em here at the South Point?
We already picked them.
Yes.
Okay, and total 49.5. Where's the action here, Chris?
Mostly on Florida, but not a whole lot. We've been kind of back and forth. We actually opened Florida 1-point favorite, went to pick them, but since then, I don't know. Florida State, they're keeping their coach. What does that tell you about the Florida State program? They went from Bobby Bowden, now they're keeping a coach who's, what's their record? Like right around 500.
Yeah.
They're trying to win, get a bowl game.
Yeah, trying to get into a bowl game. They're 5-6, I guess, going into this. So it's just not the game, not the job that it was, because I feel they can't do any better than this guy. But I don't know. I think it's Florida, of course, is in the market for a new coach. It looks like Lane Kiffin will not be their new coach. They're looking at the guy from Tulane, who we don't know. They got a game a little later, but too, that seems rather important. But I think right now, action's pretty split. It's not a real big game. A little bit more in Florida in this one.
Okay. We'll go to 353, 354. It's a matchup between an SEC team and an ACC team, Kentucky and Louisville. Big rivalry here, so I'll give it to you, Vinny. But the home team is favored by 3.
They don't call it that, but I know in my house it's called the Bourbon Bowl. So I can tell you, this is a game typically that takes place earlier in the year. There are some of these rivalry games, or in-state particularly rivalry games, that take place earlier in the year. This one is positioned here, and great, nicely so. Louisville last year in Lexington, 41-14. But it's interesting because Kentucky's won the last 2 trips to Louisville, right? So, Kentucky here playing for their bowl game. I mean, you got Stoops, who's, what's he there, like 15 years now? And I think, a few years ago, they had a lot of success. They were beating teams like Florida. They were ranked and playing really good offense and defense, but it's kind of tailed off in the last few years. I'm not saying that the guy, is playing for his job, but I know there's a lot of folks looking, especially when it's a rivalry. I mean, by the way, the 2 basketball teams just met last week, and Louisville dominated Kentucky on the basketball court. So Cats fans looking to see if they can't drink a little bit more bourbon today in this one. So we'll see.
Well, a normal guest on the show on Wednesdays is Bruce Marshall. He was unable to join us this past Wednesday, but he did like the Wildcats getting the 3 on the road here in this one.
But held pretty steady, too. It hasn't been a lot of movement, right?
Moved it all week.
It's so, two-way action on the Bourbon Bowl.
Very nice. All right, we'll go into 357, 358, Clemson at South Carolina. South Carolina is a 2.5-point favorite here at the South Point. Total is 46. Chris, where's the action been so far?
A little bit on South Carolina. We opened the game 2. I think what are we right now? We are at 2.5. Yeah. So a little bit on South Carolina. We have not gotten to 3. I made this number a little higher. I made it 4. But South Carolina's just been so inconsistent. We've talked about it. I think they've been very poorly coached. And Clemson, disappointing year. We could talk a lot about Dabo Swinney not embracing the NIL and all the transfers and all that stuff that goes with that. And it certainly hurt this program. Is he going to respond? I don't know. He seems one of those guys to be very set in his ways. But, of course, when the alumni is breathing down your neck, sometimes you might have to make a move. But, listen, I think Dabo, I think he has plenty of money. He's been making a lot of money for a long time. But it's a pride thing. You don't want to get fired from a job like that. I don't think they would fire him. I think it'd be, if he were to leave, it'd be one of those things. Well, we see things differently, like a divorce in some ways, amicable. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to stick around. But I kind of like the favorite here. I kind of like South Carolina. I think the game means a little bit more to them. And like I said, they've been inconsistent, but a part of that inconsistency is some good efforts. And I think you're going to see a really top-notch effort out of them.
Okay. Going to 361, 362, going from South Carolina to North Carolina. Wake Forest on the road at Duke. Duke is a 1.5-point favorite here at the South Point. Total is 54. Chris, I'm going to give this one back to you.
Okay.
Are you going to need the Dukies?
We're going to need the Dukies. It was one of those deals let me find my number here. When I made my number, and I got strictly objective power ratings and the things that go into it, I'm writing it down. I said, Duke 4. Man, I'd love to take 4 in this game because I think Wake is playing pretty good ball, pretty inspired ball, and a team that I think certainly with me and with a lot of other guys, I think it's kind of flown under the radar this year. I think they've been better than what the public perception is. So when I made that number right away, and then I wound up opening it. What's the game number? I opened it 2.5, and my first bet came in on the dog, and I went right to 1.5. I skipped the number. I said, man, that's the right side in this game. So now it's down to mostly 1 or 1.5. It's cutting it pretty close. But I do think Wake is probably the right side in this game. I think Duke may have peaked a little bit, whereas Wake just keeps getting better and better. So this is not going to be one of my official plays when I send them out. You didn't want to get the early one because I like Nebraska, so I'm glad you missed that one. But this is not going to be one of my official plays. If it was my stupid opening number or the number that I created at 4, I would have played them, but it wasn't that, so I didn't play that. But I think they are the right side.
All right, going to 369, 370. The Miami Hurricanes on the road at Pitt. This one, both teams still have a chance to get into the ACC Conference Championship, but they both need help in games that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But Miami is a 7-point favorite, touchdown favorite here on the road, total 49.5.
Another game really that hasn't moved, Ryan, that much. I mean, it's held pretty steady. All we got, you mentioned it, Canes can't afford another loss. They need a lot of help. I know that the committee, I guess, the playoff committee has them listed as a playoff team right now. Pitt, pretty much they're in the driver's seat for the ACC title game to face Virginia, right? With a win here.
Well, if Pitt wins, they need one of SMU or Virginia to lose.
SMU is the big wild card. I mean, of course, Virginia, which we'll get to in a minute, but. No history from last year between these two teams. I think Pitt extremely motivated. I give them credit for bouncing back after the Notre Dame smashing, really, when you think about it. Home dogs here, going to be a tough out. Pretty cold up there in Pittsburgh today, too. I think there's flurries. Of course, his old neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of this is Vinny's game, but I just interject. A lot of these Florida teams going north this time of year, there's a bigger home field advantage than just like your standard 3 or whatever you have it.
Okay. We'll go into the Commonwealth Cup, Virginia Tech at Virginia. Virginia, the Cavaliers are an 8.5-point favorite, total 52.5. Vinny, what's the action looking like here?
Well, when you look at this game, and we'll get to the reason why. I mean, it opened double digits. 10.5. I think there might have been 11s out there, but it's pretty much been one-way traffic on the Hokies here, and that's because Virginia's got some significant offensive injuries. I mean, throughout their skill positions, and I think that's played into the fact that the move has come in on Virginia Tech. Again, we just talked about it. The Cavs are looking to avenge last year. Virginia Tech beat them last year convincingly. They beat them by 20 points last year. So this, again, path is right in front of them for the Cavs. They win this game, they're in the ACC title game, which a lot of us certainly did not see when we were heading into the season last summer.
We do have all of the conference championship scenarios linked in the description of the video for anybody that's kind of losing track or would like to just see it visually for themselves. So each conference, and the AP even did an article where they have everything kind of listed out. But if you want to look at them individually, they are there. So going to the other team that is winning in, other than the Virginia Cavaliers, the SMU Mustangs on the road at Cal. At 427, 428. Looking at SMU as a almost 2-touchdown favorite, 13.5, total 53.
Yeah, Cal suddenly has decided to move off of their coach, who's been there for 7 years. So I can kind of understand that. Cal is not the easiest place to build a program. I mean, it's just a little difficult. A little bit of money on the favorite here. We opened at 12. We're up to 13.5. The SMU coach, and I'm terrible with the names, but he's done a hell of a job. This guy is a terrific coach. But California, I think, showed a lot of guts this year. I made the number 12. It's 13.5. It's not enough to really get you to play, but I think Cal's going to play an inspired game, and it depends on the psychology now of a new coach, and losing that guy. You go out and do your best because you want to prove to him that maybe he didn't deserve to get fired or something like that. You just never know how the psychology works, but I kind of favor Cal a little bit in this game, not much. And again, it's just kind of. I can't believe Stanford and Cal are in the ACC. I've only said it about 100 times, but that's not the easiest travel. And but Cal, it's not like they have these rabid home fans. They really don't. More of a laid back wine and cheese crowd. But I think it's going to be a good game. I favor the dog just a tiny bit.
Okay. Well, we will mention Stanford here in this next game because they are in the ACC. It is the final ACC game listed in rotation number order. So 429, 430. The number 9 Notre Dame Irish are the largest favorite on the board in college football, 32 points, and the total is 50. Chris, you going to need the Cardinal?
Yeah, a little bit of money showed on the Cardinal in this game. I think I opened at 33. It's down at 32, so a little bit. But, by the time we get to game time, late Saturday night, that could easily change. I think a lot of people are going to find Notre Dame on their ticket. I've been a Stanford fan, talked about it many times, through some medical situations. They saved my life and my wife's life, so how can I not root for Stanford? But Notre Dame, listen, I made the number. What did I make the number? I made it 31, so it's right there, but a little bit of money on the dog. They were to kick off right now. I would need the favorite. They're not kicking off right now. They're kicking off over 24 hours from now. I'll probably need the dog come game time.
Interesting thing, one other just note about that is piggyback on Chris's point. Notre Dame's a 10-point higher favorite this year on the road than they were a year ago in this game.
Wow.
At South Bend. Something to think. And another thing, and Chris has brought it up in the last couple of weeks, because of those first 2 losses of the season especially, style points important for the Irish in terms of in the eyes of the committee. So I think that's certainly played into it, although Stanford's gotten the betting attention so far. But Chris is right. There are going to be plenty of Notre Dame tickets today.
Stanford's gotten slightly better as the year has gone on. And I was checking their win total today. I think we had them 3.5. Well, they already have 4 wins, so they're going to be over. And by the way, we're posting the ones that finished today. We'll be posting those season win totals later today.
Awesome. So some people will be cashing tickets later.
A lot of them will be, yes.
All right, we'll move to the Big Ten. 319-320 is already concluded. Iowa did defeat Nebraska 40-16 on the road. They cover the 5.5. Total goes over the 39.5 in the first half of the game. But we'll move to the game. 363-364, number 1 Ohio State at number 18 Michigan. This one has Ohio State as a big favorite. 10 points here at the South Point, 43.5. Vinny, what do we like here?
Yeah, and so held pretty steady. Interesting thing too, because as Chris mentioned, regular season wins going in games of the year as well. Yeah. We used this one 5.5 last summer. Not a lot of movement either.
No, it wasn't.
Look here, Michigan needs. Ohio State's obviously in the playoff. The question is now what did they get? Did they get a position in the Big Ten title game with Indiana, who's a big favorite as we know, and then certainly looking for a first round bye as well. But this is the game for these teams as they posture and this is everything. Recruiting. It's now not only about recruiting incoming freshmen, it's about recruiting players through the portal. And believe me, plenty of players have made up their mind during these last couple of weeks. So here's the thing. Ryan Day, this is one that kind of sticks in his craw, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not had success against Michigan. Michigan's owned the series in recent years. But this Ohio State team, the defending champs, they're better this year than they were a year ago, especially on defense. So not a surprise that they're double digits still.
This game has not moved, I don't think, at all here at the South Point. I saw some 9.5 show up. And I guess there's some injury questions at wide receiver for Ohio State. The people were wondering. Sammy P texted me. He was wondering if I heard anything. I said, I really didn't. But I did see a little bit of sharp money show for the dog. I don't know if that tells you anything or not, because it's not like a flood of sharp money. But I think if Michigan wins, I think they're in. I think they're in the playoff. Yeah. I mean, how do you deny them?
Sure.
After beating the number one team? I mean, it'd be very hard to do it if they win.
Right.
I think it's a tall order myself. And I'm just looking. I think I made the game exactly 10, so I don't have any opinion in this game. But listen, I'm a Penn State guy. I despise both teams, so I have no bias in that regard. But Ohio State, I think, is clearly the best team in the country. Best team doesn't always win. Vinny mentioned it. This game sticks in the craw of Ryan Day. And I mean, I saw questions on Twitter today asking Ryan Day, Would you rather beat Michigan or win the national championship? The fact that that's even a question, it alerts you to how big this rivalry is. I mean, to even think that might be. And by the way, I really think in all of sports, Red Sox and Yankees, Lakers and Celtics, I think this is the number one rivalry in all of sports because there's some real hatred and two fantastic programs, right?
Yeah.
Too.
And plus, at least 60,000 people go into the stadiums every time every time this game is played. So, this one will absolutely be an amazing game to watch tomorrow. So, going to skipping over 371, 372, Penn State at Rutgers, but did want to mention that Bruce Marshall does like the road favorite here with the Nittany Lions at Rutgers, laying the 13 there. So if
they bet the favorite.
They did.
Yeah,
okay.
They bet the favorite. All
right, going to three. Oh, another Bruce Marshall play is in 415, 416. Wisconsin at Minnesota. It was opened Wisconsin to a favorite, I believe. Has moved down to a pick. Minnesota is the favorite. Wisconsin to a pick. Bruce Marshall does like the Wisconsin side there, the road team with the Badgers. So, but another one to talk about. We'll go to 431, 432. UCLA at USC. This one, the Trojans are a big favorite here, laying over 3 touchdowns, 22 points. Total is 58.5. Chris, we'll go back to you here. What are we going to need?
I made the game 22. Haven't had a lot of movement on this game, but I was teasing Alex the other day when we were on the Wednesday show that, first of all, this is like the best uniform game in all the sports. We had the best rivalry. But I remember this game when I was a kid. I mean, like I said, I think Gary Beban won the Heisman in 66. He won the Heisman. I think it was 66. And after that, you had O.J. Simpson win it. I mean, these were fantastic games. And of all the rivalries this weekend, there's tremendous ones. This is the one I kind of miss. I miss that it was just such a great game. And like I said, growing up as kids, we oftentimes only got one game on a Saturday. Well, like by this time of the year, we probably get 2. But in that late window, it was always UCLA and USC. And great teams. I missed that. But like I said, just to get back to this week's game, I made the number 22. Been on USC quite a bit this year. But I thought UCLA, they showed some flashes occasionally. Of course, they beat Penn State and knocked James Franklin out of a job. But it wouldn't surprise me if they jumped up and played a real good game. But I made it 22. I have no real opinion here.
Okay. We'll go to the next one in the rotation number order, 433, 434, number 7, Oregon, on the road, taking on the Washington Huskies. Huge rivalry here. Oregon laying 6.5 on the road and total 51.5. Vinny, what do you think?
Pretty steady in terms of the number. Not a lot of movement. Moved to the under by a couple of points. Now sitting at 51.5. Right. I think Washington's, and I think Chrissy would agree. Because we talked about it. Especially in the second half of the season, Washington's been a pretty good surprise this year. And I guess one of the ways you could look at it is we had Oregon in our games of the year as a 10-point favorite in this game. So, give the Huskies credit, and they're home for this one. Their only home loss this year was to Ohio State, which was a closer game until Ohio State wore them down in the fourth quarter. But again, pretty steady in terms of the number, but a move, about a 2-point move. Pretty steady in terms of the point spread, but about a 2-point move to the under in this one.
If anybody wants to root for some chaos in the Big Ten, you would need Indiana to lose today to Purdue. Extremely unlikely. You would need Washington to defeat Oregon, and you'd need Michigan to defeat Ohio State. And you would get a rematch of the game, Ohio State and Michigan, in the Big Ten championship. So that would be a fun one to decide that one. But it's most likely going to be Ohio State and Indiana there.
How many times are you going to hear the word "if" today?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're going to hear it a lot more.
I mean, I'm just saying everywhere, all over the place, right?
I got to tell you, I love the chaos. I think it would be fantastic.
Well, it's good because it's it's a byproduct of this expanded playoff format. Sure. Why not? It's good.
Yeah. I just love the chaos between Miami and Notre Dame fighting about who deserves what and does the game mean anything that they beat them. And And I can see both sides of the argument because at this point in time, I have Notre Dame much higher in my power ratings. But Miami beat them. I mean, it's got to count for something, doesn't it? I don't know.
Yeah. Resume is it's a whole different conversation, but we got to get moving. So we're going to the Big 12. Okay. The one that already finished today was Utah and Kansas, 323-324. Utah ended up pushing, depending on the number you got. It closed at 10.5. Didn't get there. So if you took the points with the Jayhawks, 31-21 was the cover there, thanks to a pick six by Utah that kind of made that game a little more bloated. But one that's kicking off at 6 p.m. tonight, Arizona at Arizona State. The road team, the Wildcats, are a favorite here, -1.5, total 48. Vinny, I'm going to go to you.
Yeah, Arizona State, remember, they were a playoff team a year ago. They went into Tucson and destroyed Arizona. I know that that's an angle Alex likes to play, too. I mean, they won by 42 points. So this game here, they're betting Arizona a little bit. I think we opened this game 1 here at top when Chris opened this game on Monday, 1. Got as high as 2, so then a little bit of buyback on Arizona State in this one. Look, this is another team. We talked about Washington. I think Arizona's been a bit of a surprise this year, especially after what we saw. And again, in this game late last season, ASU, destroyed them, as I mentioned, a year ago. So probably, I think a bit of a payback factor in the eyes of some folks coming in this game in Tucson today. I mean, in Tempe.
Okay. Going to 341-342, a team that Chris has been very high on for a very long time. The number 3 Texas Tech on the road at West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this one, Texas Tech is a over 3 touchdown favorite, 23.5, 52.5. What do you think, Chris?
I'm right there with the number. I made it 22. So, again, I'm not going to jump in and bet the dog on this one. But I'm looking at my, and I brought down, I just wanted to look at some of these teams where I opened them at the beginning of the season, power rating wise, and where they are now. As a bookmaker and doing this as long as I've done, I'm very skeptical of these news stories. We heard all these things about Texas Tech, and I have some followers on Twitter from Texas Tech, heard a lot from them, but just my brain, I got to see something first. So I'm looking where I opened them. My first power rating on them was 81.5. It's now 95.
Oh,
That's a hell of a move, I got to tell you.
Wow.
But, they've proved it on the field. I mean, this is a darn good team. And as high as I've rated them, I still rate them 1.5 under what the market says that they are. Again, would I jump in to bet West Virginia? No. But I think this is a really, really good team. And I put them right there with anybody in the country other than Ohio State. I got them. Anybody else, I think they'd be pretty much pick them or maybe even a slight favorite over them. Yeah, feel free to name a team. That's about what I'd say that they are. We had questions at quarterback for this team, and they had one game where they had to play the backup quarterback, and he didn't play well. He did play well in other games, though. But I think if this team stays healthy, they're as good as anybody.
Okay. Well, this next one will be the last one that we talk about in the Big 12. We're skipping over the rest, but 421, 422, UCF at number 11, BYU. BYU is a 18-point favorite here at home. 47 is the total. Vinny, what's it looking like?
Well, just like Texas Tech, right? BYU's got their eyes on the Big 12 title game and responded after their only loss earlier this year recently to Texas Tech. So, look, they handled Central Florida a year ago at Central Florida. I don't think it's a look-ahead spot. I mean, they've been very efficient, very professional. BYU. The number hasn't moved that much, Ryan. Really, it's kind of hung pretty steady at the 18-point mark for the better part of the week. A little move to the under, and I think that speaks to the way BYU tries to have control the ball, right? Want to run the ball, and I think. The other part is Central Florida. BYU's defense can Central Florida. They certainly don't want to get into a shootout with this team, and BYU can adjust either way. If they need to up tempo, they will. But I think they want to control the tempo of this game and set the rematch up with Texas Tech.
That'll certainly be a great battle, and hopefully one of these two teams that'll be left out of the Big Ten will more than likely be snubbed between BYU and Utah, or Texas Tech, whoever doesn't necessarily win the conference championship. But going to the SEC, Ole Miss did handle their business against Mississippi State. They ended up doubling them up 38-19, cover the spread. But moving on to 383-384, LSU on the road at Oklahoma. This one, Oklahoma is a 10.5 point favorite now. Total is just 36.5 though. Chris, can you lay it with Oklahoma here?
Yes.
Okay.
I might as well give you a hint. This is going to be one of my plays. Yeah, I definitely like Oklahoma here. LSU, they've had a lot of problems, and Nussmeier, I don't think he's even going to play. And if he does, he's certainly not 100%. Mateer, on the other hand, missed a couple games. He was a Heisman Trophy favorite, deservedly so. Missed some games, pretty much out of it now, I would say. But I think he's played well. The team has played well. I do like Oklahoma in this game. I have some friends who are big LSU fans, and I'm thinking about it. I got a couple other friends who are Oklahoma fans. But I think Oklahoma right here is the right side. Can you lay double digits? The total is a little scary, to lay double digits. But I don't have LSU penciled in for much offensively. So I really like Oklahoma in this game quite a bit.
Okay. Well, our resident Sooner fan, the guy directing the ship, Sean, does not.
I think he just cut me off
with the 10 there with his Sooners. So we're moving on to 347, 348 Vanderbilt with their head coach sticking around for 6 more years on the road at Tennessee. 347, 348. This one getting the field goal on the road are is Vanderbilt. Total 65.5. What are we looking at, Vinny?
There's the Alex angle again, right? Where Tennessee went into Vandy and won the game last year, and actually covered that game. The Vols have owned this, straight up this series for like the last 6 head-to-head matchups, but they're 3-3 against the number. This is a better Vandy team too. So, with both teams out of the SEC title game picture, it's a matter of positioning for a better bowl, a bigger payday. Guys, who want to stick around to the programs to showcase what they can do, and of course, where are some of these players going to go? So, or showcase their talents to whoever, right? So, again, a rivalry game here. I think we'll see. Both teams put out a pretty good effort, and again, the number hasn't moved that much. Actually, the total's gone up and down a little bit too, so two-way action on the total. But really, the numbers held pretty steady for the better part of the week at 3.
All right, going to the final game in the SEC, the Iron Bowl, 387-388, Alabama at Auburn. Bruce Marshall does like the home team here, getting the 6. Thinks they can spoil some things for Alabama. Alabama does just need to win this game, and they are in the SEC championship. With some help, Georgia can get in as long as A&M loses to Texas. But if Alabama goes down and A&M goes down, it would be Georgia and Ole Miss, considering that Ole Miss just handled their business against Mississippi State. So for this one, we've got a 6-point line, and 46.5 is the total. What do we think, Chris?
Might as well spill the beans on this one, too. I'm with Bruce. I like the favorite. I made this number 10. I think that they're just a much better team. And, friends of the show, Bill Conley, Ed Feng, I know they don't have Bama rated as high as I do. But, listen, I respect the hell out of those guys. When they told me that, I had to go take another look and see, am I missing something? Well, I don't think I am. I think that this is one of the best teams in the country. I got them a couple points, certainly below Ohio State, even below Texas Tech. But I think this is one of the absolute best teams in the country. I think they will be ultra focused for this game. They know what's on the line. And, I like them. And I'm glad to have Bruce on my side. I got to tell you, it doesn't make me feel any less confident. This is definitely one of my plays. I laid 6 in the Westgate contest, and there's a lot of 6 out there. And I think Bama's the winner in this game.
Bruce is actually oppo of you.
Oh.
He does like the home team.
He likes Auburn.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said he liked Alabama. My
Tigers.
That's my old brain.
Oh,
Heard you wrong.
Well,
Bruce, I'm sorry. Two-way action, as Vinny would love to point it out.
Love it.
But I like the favorite in this one. I like the favorite.
Okay.
Auburn needs a game, right, to go to a bowl game,
Yeah.
don't they? Yeah.
Okay. We will we'll move to one game here in the American, talking Charlotte and Tulane, 409-410. This one does have implications for the conference championship. The others do not. That is why we're skipping them. But the North Texas, if they handle their business later today and Tulane handles their business, it will be Tulane and North Texas in that championship. If one of them loses, it opens the door for Navy to get in there. But again, we do have all those
You got
scenarios.
a total of
linked
50
in there.
points you have to overcome.
Oh, man. Yeah. Tulane.
20 in one and 30 in the other
Yeah,
one.
Tulane land 30 here, total 53.5.
It's Charlotte teams won
Green
one
Wave.
game all year. I mean, it's and Tulane, they're in the driver's seat. Man, it's interesting. The committee's got them as the group of five, playoff team. So, but they do have to obviously win this. But then they have to beat North Texas.
Yep. This is more looking like a green tsunami here. So,
Yeah.
Moving to the Mountain West, talking, Air Force and Colorado State is already underway. Air Force already up 2 touchdowns early in the second quarter there at Colorado State. But now talking UNLV at Nevada, 439-440. The Rebels are laying 8.5, total 53.5. They do have the opportunity to get in the Mountain West Championship if Boise State does go down later today. But Chris, what do you think about your Wolfpack here?
My Wolfpack.
Yeah.
I am a Wolfpack guy. So spent all those years in Reno. The more I looked at this game, I only made it 7. Those are kind of a couple big points. Once you get over that 7, Nevada's played better the last couple of weeks. They made a quarterback change a few weeks ago. Seems to have given them a little extra bounce in their step. The game they had a couple weeks ago, God, I can't remember who they were playing. I think it was San Jose. It was 28-0 before I even had a chance to look up on the screen and see them. They had a couple turnovers, pick sixes, but I bet against them last week against Wyoming. I thought that was kind of a mirage. But the more I look at it, they actually have gotten better. UNLV, again, that the last couple years, starting with Barry Odom and now with Dan Mullen, it's turned into a pretty decent program. But I think it's going to be a little cold up in Reno, which certainly I think would help the home team. And not on my list officially, but I kind of like the dog here.
Okay. It is really just between San Diego State, Boise State, New Mexico, and UNLV for that conference championship appearances. But Vinny, do you have anything in 425, 426, Fresno State at San Jose State?
Yeah, a month ago, Fresno was in this picture, right? Particularly for their defense. And when you look at Fresno, 6 of their last 7 games have gone under. And so this is a game here where Fresno's getting the betting attention up from 2.5 up to 3.5. So no real surprise there. Still, when you look at it, Fresno putting together a nice season, and this could be their 8th win and a pretty decent bowl game, not a secondary bowl game necessarily.
All right, well, that's it for the college slate. We did want your guys' thoughts on turkey versus ham, or who are you taking the points with at home in rivalry week? In the SEC, Auburn getting the 6 against Alabama. In the Big 12, Arizona State getting the 1.5 at home against the Arizona Wildcats. Big 10, Michigan getting the 10 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Or in the ACC, Pitt getting the 7 against Miami. We'll go ahead and let you guys finish up your voting there before we move on to the NFL slate. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold them or fold them, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Magliulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts, Eric. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Welcome back into Sports by the Book Football Frenzy. It is segment number 2. We'll call it hour number 2. It is the NFL specific portion of the show today. We did have a question from Agent 87. Chris, what it did end up, well, we'll just hand it to you this way. What did you guys end up making the number on this Bears-Eagles game?
I made it 7. We were at 7 virtually the whole week until this morning. We finally went to 7.5. A little bit of sharp money on the favorite, but nothing crazy. Like I said, it took them all week. Here we are, week, 14? It took them all week to decide 7 wasn't a good enough number. I'm going to go to 7.5. That's what we did.
And then as for yesterday, all 3 of the underdogs ended up winning outright.
Yeah.
So how did it end up for you guys yesterday?
You know, I think I mentioned I've been doing this for 45 years. I think I've lost on 35 Thanksgivings, and that's not an exaggeration. I joked with Michael Gaughan the other day about it. We never win on Thanksgiving. We killed him yesterday. It was really one of the I'd say probably the best Thanksgiving we ever had financially. It really was. We got nailed a little bit on the college game of all things, on the total in the college game. But, those kind of crazy things happen. All in all, if I could sign up for something like that every Thanksgiving, I'd like to go back 45 years and sign up for it, to tell you the truth. But it wound up really good. And, you talked about having 2 legs live on the reverse teaser, which means we did really good on teasers yesterday, which is exactly what we did. So wound up being a terrific day for us.
Worst beating as a bookmaker I ever took was on a Thanksgiving weekend, like 1988, 89 especially, though, where the whole – Chris, remember that the Thanksgiving Day massacre where – it was very deceiving because Thanksgiving Day was really good. The entire left side of the parlay card, though, came in for that whole weekend. And by the time we got to Sunday, I thought Vinny was going to be back in the dice pit. But from a football perspective, that was Chrissy's right. This was with 3 dogs coming in yesterday. It definitely benefited the house. But listen, got today, tomorrow, and Sunday could be a different story.
Yeah, we're not done yet. Trust me. I remember. I don't think it was last year. I think it was a couple years ago, and it was one of those we just lost every game. And then Monday night is always hard to win because you got all kind of pending live bets. Anything got knocked out, you got knocked out early and already added in. So we always have the Tuesday morning executive meeting. I walk in, like Michael goes, "How did we do last night?" Like 200,000. Yeah. So,
ouch.
I don't think he looked at me the rest of the meeting. He didn't want to hear any more from me.
Well, Chris had mentioned the 2 winning legs on that reverse teaser card. The Packers did cover that 4.5. The Bengals did cover the +0.5. Ended up winning outright, dominating 32-14. And then the Cowboys were -4.5, and they only ended up winning by 3. So if you manage to get those 2, you're good way to pretty nice payday. And you've got the Bears currently leading, and they're getting a 0.5 point on this card right now. But moving to Sunday, we'll go to the AFC South matchup between the Texans and Colts. Colts dealing with injury concerns with Daniel Jones, but he should be good to go. Or they've said he's good to go, but this line is now Colts -3.5, total 44. Chris, what you thinking?
Well, it looks like C.J. Stroud will be the quarterback. And although Davis Mills really played well in his stead, if you go back and look at his numbers, they were terrific. And I don't know if this kid's made himself a couple $1 million or not, but he might have. Yeah. He might have a chance to have a starting position. Come from Stanford. He didn't get a lot of playing time at Stanford, but he was just one of those kids that matured late. I think he even matured as a pro, because I remember his first couple games as a pro with Houston. I remember thinking, boy, he didn't look very good. But, boy, he looked terrific in these last couple games. And I saw his teammates really have, like, a lot of confidence in him, too. So all that can't hurt. But nonetheless, I've been super high on C.J. Stroud his whole career coming from Ohio State. I think it's going to be a really good game. I made this number 4 with everybody healthy, but, I expected Stroud to be healthy. I did not know Jones had essentially a broken
fracture
fibula.
Fibula.
But they say he's going to play. Okay. He hasn't looked that good, in the last couple of weeks. So I made it 4, and it was one of those, I think, and when I made it 4, it looks a bit high. I'm not sure I'd favor the dog in this game, but I just love that Houston defense. They play so well. Indianapolis probably peaked a couple weeks ago. I think, gun to my head, I'd probably play the dog here.
I mean, all of a sudden, the Colts have a 1-game lead in the division, right? Yeah. They were running away with it. They were just 1 game ahead of Jacksonville now. To Chris's point, early money came in on the Colts because there was not the knowledge about Stroud, but it looks like, as Chris pointed out, he's more than likely to play. He's probable. So came back down. They actually think we were high as 4.5 very early in the week from 4 and grabbed that. So 4.5 was extremely valuable when you consider this the fact that the Texans have this phenomenal defense and Stroud looks like he's going to play.
Yep. I do believe D'Amico Ryans has come out and said that Stroud will be the starter for the Texans, and there have been some videos that's circulating of Colts practices and Daniel Jones not really looking good in his dropbacks. So to have to go against that defense, that Texans defense, that is one of the best in the league.
Well, one hit too, right? With a fracture.
Leg,
Did they go with Anthony Richardson?
It's either that or Sam
Ellinger. I thought
Leonard.
Where's
Riley Leonard? Excuse me.
Riley Leonard.
Where's Gardner Minshew?
He's the backup in Kansas City, right?
Oh, you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
So in this one, it is a play on the Texans for me. We will go to an NFC West team on the road, taking on an NFC South team. The team currently in first place in the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are a 3.5 point favorite, almost the essentially exact same line as that last game. 44.5 is the total, but injury concerns for Baker Mayfield. So, Vinny, I'll give it to you first.
Yeah.
What are we going to need?
Well, Baker's, the whole team has been hurt all year, right? They're trying to get the receiving core back, especially. But Mayfield, it's his non-throwing shoulder. He could not finish the game last week, Ryan, but he is a warrior. I mean, you have to love this guy. another team that had a pretty commanding lead early on in the division, and now it's between them and Carolina. But both of those, I think they finished with Carolina 2 out of the last 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, right? They'll play Carolina. They have another game, and then in the final week of the season. So if they control that destiny, I mean, you still have to make the Buccaneers a favorite for the division, also considering that Carolina's got the Rams at home this week too. So this game here, where Tampa we're not going to need a 3, right? It opened 3, went to 2.5, now up to 3.5. So more money in on the Buccaneers here. Not really a surprise. And Chrissy and I talked about this Cardinals battle, Chris. But they just, it's But they've been that way for the last couple of years, and they just can't get over the hump.
I look at their coach and I kind of like him. He hasn't had great results. I've not liked Kyler Murray from the day he was drafted. I remember being on Gil Alexander's show and telling him what a mistake it would be to draft this kid number 1. I like Jacoby Brissett, and I think that he's one of those guys. I think the players kind of rally behind him. He's another guy. He's not good enough to be a starter for any kind of a contender, but he's a solid player. And I think when we look back on his career, he's been in it for about 8, 9, maybe even 10 years. Made a lot of money.
Yeah, been traveling around.
And he's been a reliable player. And, I'm not sure I like him in this spot. I think with a healthy Baker, I think 3.5 is a good number. I'm not sure he's a healthy Baker, though.
Yeah.
So, again, I think this is an Arizona team that's kind of tough. And, again, it's not one of my plays, but gun to my head, I think I would take the dog here.
Okay. Yeah, both teams extremely feisty, and that's credit to the head coach, both head coaches, and the leadership in the locker rooms. But we'll go back to the AFC South.
Yeah.
2 teams, one team looking very much like they're going to get the number 1 overall pick again, and one team trying to keep pace and maybe win that division. But the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in Tennessee, taking on the Titans. Jags laying 6, total 41.5. Chris, I'll go to you here first.
I hate to go with too many road favorites, so I'm not going to go with this one because I got a couple later coming up that I do like. But I made number 6.5. I've just been against this Tennessee team, and with good cause. I mean, this is just it's a terrible outfit from start to finish. And Cam Ward came in, and we heard some good things about him in the preseason, certainly. And I wouldn't certainly give up on him at all at this point. But we got to get somebody in here who could actually coach him and realize some of that potential that he has. But that's just the beginning of all their problems. They got a whole bunch of them. I said, do I want to lay this kind of a number? Not really. But if you look at the Titans' record, even against the spread, last couple of years, I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And then, as wise guys, dog players, blah, 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 you're always looking, I could see a little value with the dog. I don't see much value with the dog, I got to tell you. If you want to play him, knock yourself out because there's some money shown on the dog in this one. And like I said, if it wasn't for the wise guys, we'd never get a bet on Tennessee. Never.
To Chris's point, this is an important point for folks out there, that are not professionals, right, or novice. It's the power of the number and the importance of the number. They took 7 with the team that's probably, certainly the lowest rated team in our power ratings. And again, you pointed out, Ryan, they're probably going to have the number 1 pick again. But the power and the attraction of the key number, in this case, the 7, really meant a lot. But that said, we're gonna need the Titans in this game because I can tell you right now, the Jags will be in every money line parlay, especially in every teaser. Forget the reverse teaser there. Forget.
Well, speaking of which, the Jags are 14.5 on that one.
There you go.
You'll need the Titans to win outright if you want to take them.
That's right.
Going from the lowest power rated team in the league to the highest power rated team in the league, the Los Angeles Rams on the road in Carolina, taking on the Panthers, laying 10.5 here at the South Point. There are 10s in the market if you are tempted by that, or for a better place to lay on the Rams. But total 45. Vinny, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is the most complete team in the NFL right now, playing exceptional on both sides of the line of scrimmage. You look at this game through 10. Carolina, a very good team at home, coming off of not a particularly good performance against the Niners. They get the Rams here. Panthers have been home for since that game on Monday night. And the Rams, holiday weekend, having to travel, go cross country, but they find a way to take care of business. This is a game too that the public will be on the Rams, Chris, I think, but any sharp play that comes in, more professional play, I think they'll wait to see. They haven't grabbed a 10.5 yet because they think maybe they'll go higher and bet against the public.
Again, I mean, I made the number 11.5, but I don't want to jump in and bet against a home dog again. This Carolina team is feisty. I give them credit. Another team, I don't like their quarterback, Bryce Young. I always thought, again, he was drafted in the same draft as C.J. Stroud. And you got to go with the bigger guy. I mean, thought their skill sets were, reasonably equal. I don't know. Nobody listens to me, though, Ryan. I don't know why they wouldn't. But even that being said, I don't really particularly care for him as a quarterback, but overall the team has played well and has gotten better as the year has gone on. Now, I got the Rams 2 points clear of anybody else in this field, power rating wise. I think they are that good. I think they're legit. I think it's going to take some beating for somebody to win the Super Bowl and knock them out. But I don't know if I'm not going to lay this kind of wood on the road to a team that's actually played fairly well.
Yeah, Carolina has been feisty this year, and especially off of a loss. They have yet to not cover a spread coming off of a loss so far this season, but big number with the best team in the league, most dominant looking team with those Rams there in Los Angeles. Going to Miami, the Saints are a 5.5 point underdog to the Dolphins. Total is 42. What do you think here, Chris?
I made it number 5, so no real opinion on this. And I've seen some flashes of both teams playing well at times. I think they both have some quarterback issues, inconsistency at quarterback. And sometimes Tagovailoa can look like the guy who was a first-round draft choice. Taylor Shuck, he wasn't first round, was he? Second or third round, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But he's actually played fairly well. And I like Ryan Moore as a coach. I like McDaniel as a coach early on, but I don't know if he's lost his mojo. But it looks like they're going to keep him around for another year and give him another chance. So, like I said, I've seen signs, good signs with both teams. Obviously, a lot of bad signs with both teams, too. But I made the number 5.5, not enough to get me interested in one way or another.
Dolphins have played better in the last few weeks. It's off a bye, too, right? They were off last week. This is a game they have to have if, in fact, they're going to be bad. I don't want to see even be back, but I think this number is going to go up. I think the public is going to be on the Dolphins because of the fact that they've played better in recent weeks, and I think perception's reality to folks. But Chrissy's right. Saints have been feisty, but the Dolphins, if in fact McDaniel's going to keep his job and they are, going to be better, this is a game they have to have, and I think that's what's in the minds of the public.
This one is involved in our poll today for our viewers, counting on left overs. Which Week 13 NFL matchup are you taking the over on Sunday? Falcons Jets over 39.5, Raiders Chargers over 40.5, Jaguars Titans over 41.5, or this game, the highest total available of those four at 42.
42. Yeah.
Currently looking like we've got a tie between the team that plays here and this game that we were just talking about. But going to the other game involved in the poll, Falcons and Jets. Falcons 2.5 road favorite there in MetLife. 39.5 is the total.
I know my buddy Chris is going to say, can I bet against both of these teams? Look, this game has not just had a lot of interest. When you look at now, will it get interest on game day? It's held pretty steady at 2.5. There's some college games that have had more action than this game because people are just trying to figure out what do we do with this game. If the number gets to 3, I can tell you this: don't blink because again, talk about the power of the key number, and that'll be a time to that folks, particularly professionals, will grab the Jets. Will it get to 3? I'm not so sure. I don't know. It just doesn't have a lot of interest here, and I think the public, though, And again, it's interesting that this game is in that poll too. I think the public's perception is probably going to be, you know what, these teams have to score. If their defenses are not good, they're going to give up. Both are going to give up a bunch of points. Now, can their offenses score? I'm not so sure, Chris.
Quick story. I was 45 years old playing in a softball league. I couldn't throw anymore. So I told my girlfriend at the time, I says, if I hit a home run, I'm walking off the field. I'm never playing again. Next game, boom, home run. Told the coach, you better get somebody else at third because I ain't playing anymore. I never played again after that. If I ever get a Falcon game right, I might retire from this business because I don't think I've been right in 2 years about them. I made the number 5. It might be the other side 5 for all I know. I have no idea. But again, gun to my head, I guess I'd go with Atlanta, but don't count on anything I say with this team. Nothing.
Yeah, the roster has the offensive potential, but just haven't been able to actually do it consistently. So
find ways to lose games.
Well, moving from the Jets to the Browns, hosting the 49ers in Cleveland. The Niners are a 5.5 road favorite. This total is lower than the last at 36. What do you think, Chris?
Okay, everybody's ready to anoint Shedeur Sanders. I mean, it's like all Shedeur all the time when we see some of these talking head shows. And they won last week. You know what his QBR was? You know what it was? Out of 100, 8.8.
8?
8.8 is QBR. And your QBR, sometimes I have an issue with I like it. Doesn't tell you everything. But you go look at his rating, his more conventional rating, was like an 83, which is horrible. He did not play that well. And I know they won. They beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
And, he's out there and guaranteeing, hey, look at what I did with only a week's worth of practice. And he's really feeling his oats, and I got to tell you, I didn't like his father's act, and I don't like his act. And I'm trying not to be biased when I look at that. And again, I look at the QBR number, 8.8. That's pretty bad. I like Niners. This is going to be one of my games. I like the Niners laying anything under 6, which 5.5 is pretty much the predominant number here. I like the Niners in this one.
Okay. Great example of perception's reality in the eyes of a lot of folks, Ryan. Here's a game that, probably we could have probably opened at 7, but knowing that what happened last week with the Browns was money was going to come in on them. Look, this game I think will go up, back up. And if it doesn't, that's fine. We need, we got the Niners going for us in this game. That's fine. Now, that said, Browns, terrific defense, one of the best defenses in the league, no question about it. But the Niners, come Sunday, probably Saturday night into Sunday, I think they'll be Niner money, and I just think it's a matter of folks waiting for the lowest possible price.
Okay, so essentially, best available would be now to take the Niners.
Well, so far, I mean, yeah, sure.
I would say I don't see it going down. I said people are going to start looking at these numbers as the wise guys get in and start crunching, and the public perception was how good Shedeur Sanders was. It was not very good, and the Niners, they've had a lot of issues, defensive injuries, and the Ayuk thing. I don't know what the hell happened there, But I still believe in this Niner franchise. I think it's a solid franchise from ownership all the way down to the 53rd man on the roster. And I think that they're going to show up on Sunday and beat this Browns team as good as their defense is, which is very good.
Well, if there's any organization in the league that needs quarterback or players with the type of confidence that Shedeur Sanders has, it would be the Browns. So
they've been through 43 quarterbacks in the last 20 years. So.
Yeah. Think too, real quick, the Carolina's offense is better, and the Niners played well. So you have an offense here. I mean, really, what does this offense do?
And the Niners' offense put them behind.
Yeah, the touchdowns.
Interceptions.
Touchdown was actually almost a lateral. Well, the long touchdown last week was basically a lateral. And credit the back for what he did. But again, it was the Raiders who were just an absolute mess.
All right, going to the Pacific Northwest, another massive favorite here is the Seahawks, now up to 12 with the injury concerns of J.J. McCarthy. Should be Max Brosmer, I believe, for the Vikings.
Undrafted free agent.
The total. Yeah, from the University of Minnesota, so that's probably how they were able to scout him. But yes, 12 are the Seahawks laying and total 41. So, Vinny, what do you think?
I think we're going to need the Vikings. We already need the Vikings, and that's not going to change. And there'll be no blinking here. There'll be blinking going up the ladder because it's already gone up a few points already when you look at it. 8.5 up to
I opened
12.
at 8.5.
Right. I mean, so Chrissy put out an early Christmas gift in the minds
I'm
of
gonna
a
get
lot
one of
of
those henna
bettors.
tattoos this time in Minnesota.
It's been all Seahawks in this game, and one-way traffic I think is going to continue. Move to the under by a couple of points too, which is kind of interesting. But that's again, I think the fact that you've got a really good defense here in Seattle, and how are the how are the Vikings? This is going to be a Cinderella story. I don't know. Cinderella didn't get tackled.
Yeah, this quarterback wasn't that good in Minnesota. He was okay, but I guess that's what they got, and that's what you got to go with. I'm surprised nobody reached out to Josh Dobbs or anything like that. But this is what we got. But that's why the game moved from 8.5 to 12. I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to take Minnesota in this spot. I thought 8.5. I'm looking at my numbers. That's what I made it with McCarthy, and as poorly as he's played. But boy, you throw in a rookie against this defense, and boy, they're right there among the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
Them or Houston. There's a couple others. Cleveland's very good, but I think if you look at Seattle and Houston, probably two best defenses. Boy, a rookie quarterback who wasn't that good in college playing in this. I don't know. It'd be awful tough for me to play the dog here.
Another added factor is that the quarterback of the Seahawks got to practice every single day last year against this Vikings defense.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So a little revenge factor
Yeah.
for Sam Darnold going against the team that
Very good.
didn't believe in him as the franchise quarterback. And now with his team that he could be what changes the franchise there. But now going to Pittsburgh, the Bills are a 3-point road favorite here at the South Point. The Bills also ruled out both of their starting tackles, right and left. A linebacker and Curtis Samuel, a wide receiver today. So injury concerns there, but they are laying 3. Total is 46. What do you think of your Steelers here, Chris?
Well, we saw some money show on the Steelers, and I think the injuries tell that story. I made a number 3.5 with everybody healthy. But you're missing 2 tackles. Boy, that's tough. We saw it happen in Kansas City a couple years ago when they were missing their 2 tackles when they played a Tampa Bay team who, let's be honest, they were better than Tampa Bay during the whole season. They were laying 3.5 in the Super Bowl, for good reason. But I think the public did not perceive, just exactly how important those guys were. And Buffalo's not played their best ball this year. They've been anything but. We had them penciled in as, the Super Bowl had to go through, the AFC had to go through Buffalo for sure. We had them, whatever their season win total was the highest on the board. Has not come to fruition. So I kind of like the Steelers here. Not crazy about it. Like I said, I made the Bills 3.5. Not like the Steelers have lit the world on fire. They haven't. You'll see me with my Steeler tie next week, though, Mr. Chicago there, if they win this game. But I don't know. I guess gun to my head, I would play the Steelers, but I'm not crazy about it. It's an injury game for me if I were to play the Steelers. That's what knocked this number down from 3.5 to 3.
Steelers with some new life too, right? Especially after
with the
last
Ravens.
night's Ravens loss to the Bengals, right? Which again, those two teams also have 2 games remaining with each other in the latter part of the season. Interesting scheduling. I don't get it, but that said, here Bills with all kinds of injury. The O-line. Look at Josh Allen last week as a mobile quarterback. He was demolished. Now, granted, that's the best. I think the best defense in the NFL in terms of the Texans. Steeler defense has not been a typical Steeler defense this year, but this is a game maybe where they can get right given the injuries to the Bills, particularly on the offensive line.
All right.
Excuse me. One thing, we looked back a couple weeks ago. Josh Allen had one of the greatest games of the year.
Yeah,
He had
6
he accounted
touchdowns.
for 6 touchdowns, 3 running, 3 passing.
Yeah.
And last week, like Vinny said, he got demolished. So it shows you how important that offensive line is.
Yep.
And they're missing 2 of their best linemen, 2 tackles. I don't know.
Good point.
And every one of these guys, football is the ultimate team game. Basketball, Michael Jordan can dominate. Baseball, Barry Bonds, you can't really pitch around him that much. But football, you better have all 11 guys on offense and 11 guys on defense and 11 guys on special teams. And if somebody's not doing their job, it's like a link in the chain.
Yeah.
It can fall apart very easily.
Yeah, and just speaking of special teams, the Steelers do have one of the best special teams coordinators in the league, as recognized the last couple of years. So, but moving down to South SoFi Stadium down in LA, the Raiders are 9.5-point underdogs against the Chargers. There is a 10 available in the market if you do like that side, but total is 40.5 here at the South Point. Vinny, what do you think down here?
We're going to need the Raiders.
Yeah.
Even though this number hasn't moved that much, their offense just can't. When you talk about an offensive line, this has been an issue all year when it's healthy.
Yep.
Chargers looking to rebound after really a one-side, right? A loss to the Jags, which was one of the shocks.
Yeah.
Not a shock that the Jags won that game, but the way they won
Yeah.
that game and how dominant they were. This is a get-right spot for the Chargers. I think that's the mindset of the betting public, and I think this is an afternoon game. There'll be plenty of carryover to it. We'll see 10 sooner rather than later.
No real opinion for me. I don't like the way this Charger team has looked. And, we talked about Joe Alt, missing their top offensive lineman. They've tried to, they made a trade and they had another guy got healthy. But still, just shows you that big lineman, how much it can mean. And look at Philadelphia losing Lane Johnson.
Yep.
And, they're losing at halftime today where they have 3 points.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It shows you, how, these offensive linemen, we really take them for granted in the general public. I hate to say, I kind of like the Raiders in this game. Not that I love them so much, but I don't see the Chargers putting a whole lot of points on the board. I think if they could walk out of there with a 17-10 victory, they'd be happy as can be. And Raiders get the dough.
Chip Kelly gone, so
Yep.
we'll
Chip
see what
Kelly's
kind
gone.
of offensive scheme, how things change, if they change.
Well, it's Greg Olson's third time
Yeah.
as the offensive coordinator of the Raiders, and his previous instances, he did love to feed the tight ends. So could be,
Well, that's one of their few weapons that they have.
yeah, could be a big week for Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. So look out there. Going to Sunday Night Football in the nation's capital, taking on the Broncos. The Commanders are getting 6 at home. 43.5 is the total. Chris, what are you gonna need on Sunday night?
Well, it's going to be Marcus Mariota. And I can't believe money is actually showing on the Commanders in this game. And I don't understand it. I do like the favorite. Another road favorite, but this one I actually like. At this point in time, were they to kick off, I would need Denver. They're not kicking off. I think we got a long way to go. There's a lot of people in town. And, a lot of the general public loves playing favorites. And I think they're going to be playing a lot of favorites. If they happen to win, we're going to have a lot pending on this game into Denver. And if they don't, it's the get even or get even worse game. And that's, I think a lot of money is going to show on Denver. And so I think we're going to need Washington. By the way, Terry McLaurin is playing. That's a big plus for Washington. But I like Denver in this game. Even with everybody healthy, no other circumstances, I think this number should have been higher. I think this Denver team is, we talk about great defenses. They're not quite the same echelon, as Houston or Seattle, but they're right up there. It's a good defense. And, I think they go in there and handle business.
You watch this Denver team, even when they're not, and it's not like they blow people out and they're always ahead in games. They hang around, they keep it close. Their defense is terrific, keeps them close, and then the fourth quarter, they just wear teams down.
Yep.
And they get it done. So, look, they find a way. I agree with Chris. This number is gonna go back up here, and I'd be shocked if it didn't, to be honest. So,
Okay.
no surprise.
The final primetime game of the week, Monday Night Football, the only eliminated team in the NFL so far this year, the New York Giants on the road in Foxborough, taking on the Patriots. Patriots touchdown favorite, total 46.5. What's the threat here?
The 10-2 Patriots?
Yeah.
How about that? Well, Dart looks like he's going to play, right? He's cleared. I think he just cleared concussion protocol shortly before we came on the air here. They again a quick take on Sunday night, Monday morning about the 7.5. Not a real surprise there, but the ultimate carryover game in terms of betting handle and winning wagers going to this game. Certainly more going to the Patriots. So, will it come down a little bit? Yeah, probably, but I think it goes back up the ladder as well. So there'll be, I think, more interest in the Patriots. And listen, the Patriots, people talk a lot about their schedule and what they did. Look, they play the schedule they've been dealt, and they take care of it, and they get it done. So what I think has been the most impressive thing to me about the Patriots this year is they don't get rattled. When they've been down a few times and they've had teams hang around and come back and everything. But you know what, Chris? They just keep finding a way to get it done, and that's right now. They're the number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yeah, I like the Giants though in this game. I think the number is just a shade high. We've been at 7.5.
Yeah,
I'll probably be back at 7.5 at some point, but I'm going to give this game out at +7. I kind of like the Giants. I just think this number just got a little too high, and it's funny because I like my 3 players are going to be 2 road dogs. I like the Niners minus 5.5 or whatever it is, and I like the Broncos also. What's that number mostly like?
6.
Like 6. Yeah,
6.
You might be able to find a 5.5 somewhere. But this one I like. I like the road dog in this one. I think they keep it close. I think Jackson Dart gives them a little bounce in their step, and again, I think New England will be happy to walk out of there with 20-17 victory. I think they'd be happy as could be, and that's kind of the way I'm looking at this game, something like that. But I think Jackson Dart and New York keep it close.
Well, definitely can't play the Giants on the money line because they blow double-digit leads in the fourth quarter on the road.
How many close ones have they lost though? I mean, they make it close.
Yeah,
they can't pull the trigger when the buzzer sounds, but they can keep it close, and you get the dough in doing that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think that the Giants will have some fight here on Monday night, but I will wait and to see if we get the hook over the 7.
You'll see it.
So, yeah. Do you want to run through your plays one more time?
My plays, I got 3 plays. I got Denver, like I said, Sunday night. I like the 49ers, so 49ers minus 5.5. The Denver minus 6, and I like the Giants +7. But I got to give it out what the number is right now. You'll find 7.5 come Monday night.
Yeah,
+7. Put me down there.
Okay. The one thing that I do like the Texans getting the points on the road in Indianapolis. I do think that injury concern with Daniel Jones is going to be pretty high. And then we'll talk more about it on Monday with Alex White. She will be back Monday night talking about the Giants and Patriots.
Where is that loafer? Where's she at?
She's enjoying her Thanksgiving break.
Oh, okay.
So as we hope the rest of you did, we also hope you enjoyed the show today. We did have an update on the 2 polls that we ran.
Yes.
College football, turkey versus ham. Which team are you taking the points with at home in the rivalry week? SEC, Auburn getting 6 against Bama. The Big 12, Arizona State getting 1.5 against Arizona. Big 10, Michigan getting 10 against the Buckeyes. Pitt getting 7 against Miami. We got a tie in the result there. The viewers went with Arizona State, thinking they might win outright, getting the 1.5, and they went with the Panthers against the Hurricanes, getting the touchdown there at home. And then for the NFL results, counting on leftovers, which Week 13 NFL matchup are you taking the over with on Sunday? Falcons-Jets over 39.5, Raiders-Chargers over 40.5, Jaguars-Titans over 41.5, and Saints-Dolphins over 42. The chat is going with the Raiders and Chargers going over that 40.5.
Oh, okay.
Thinking we'll get some offense there from the Geno Smith-led team and the Justin Herbert-led team there in SoFi. So thank you again for tuning in. If you're watching us back, go ahead and leave your plays. We'll see if we'll try and give you guys a shout out on Monday if you guys are some big winners. Other than that, good luck. Thank you, Chris, Vinny. Thank you, Sean.
Guys.
Thank you,
Great
Ann.
job
Thank
today.
you, Jerry.
Great job today in that seat. Terrific.
Thank you. Trying. We're always trying new things here at Sports by the Book. This has been Sports by the Book, Football Frenzy. Good luck this weekend.